Hiya YouTubers, this is Superman G coming back at you one more again. And in this video I am going to talk about cutting the cord. Some of you may have already done it, some of you may be thinking about it. And cutting the cord basically means that you are wanting to separate or disconnect from your cable provider, whether that's satellite or cable. You want to disconnect for your general reasons or your personal reasons, whether they're too expensive, and most of the time that's what it is, which is why I personally cut my cord. When I first got DirecTV, I was paying $34 a month, and that was very reasonable. That was almost 20 years ago. Now they're probably over $100 a month. So it's a significant rise in cost, and I don't watch that many channels, and personally it was just too high for my stakes. So I decided to go back to old school style. When I was growing up, we didn't have cable. We had over-the-air antennas that sat outside of your house on a big pole, and you had the antenna affixed to the top of it, and you aimed it in a direction of where the radio stations were or the TV stations were, and that was how you were able to get your channels. And the best thing about it is that receiving the signals is all for free. There's no charge. The only thing you have to pay for is the antenna itself and a mast, which is the pole that the antenna sits on top of, if you want to go that route. There's also another alternative if you don't want to buy the mast. You can actually install the antenna inside of your attic, and I'm going to put a video of that on this. And I'm going to also have links to where you can buy antennas from. You can buy antennas from pretty much anywhere where electronics are sold. Of course, the number one vendor when it comes to electronics and things being sold is Amazon. I have some examples here. These are some outdoor antennas. The antenna that you want to go with, you want to make sure that, first of all, price wise, if you can afford it, you don't want to really go too cheap, because sometimes cheap is not always the best. They may say, oh, you can get 50-mile range out of this antenna, but they're actually inflating it. So you have to make sure, for $35, it's like, I'm not saying that's what this is, I'm just doing this as an example, but it may not necessarily be true that that mile or range of antenna is accurate. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it will be pretty close. But you don't want to go too cheap, because of course you're going to get what you pay for when it comes to buying these antennas. The antenna that I purchased, and you want to make sure you do your research on antennas. Don't just go out and just, oh, I'll get this antenna. Do your research on these antennas. If you see a product that you like of antenna, see if you can visit that company's website and read up on it. See what the true specs of it is, and make sure that it's exactly what it is that you're looking for as far as range. Now, depending on how far you live from the radio stations or the TV stations, you want to try to find one that gives you a long range distance, and you want to make sure it's outdoors. I don't really recommend or care for antennas that say they're indoor, because you're going to get some signal loss when you actually have it inside of your house. As far as not in the attic, you're going to lose a little bit, but you shouldn't lose too much. But if you actually have it like inside of the living room, there's a lot of signal loss. You got to go through a whole bunch of insulation and things of that nature, and it could cut down on your signal dramatically. The antenna that I purchased is made by Channel Master, and the website is right here, channelmaster.com. And this antenna is very well made. You can go to the website and click on antennas. They have indoor antennas, they have outdoor antennas. This is actually the antenna that I purchased. This is the EXTREMEtenna 80 multi-directional 180-degree range, outdoor antenna up to 80 miles. Now, I don't live 80 miles from my TV stations. However, I wanted something that would cover the distance from where I live to the radio or TV stations. So if I wanted to, I could actually turn the antenna in a different direction and most likely pick up TV stations from a different city area. But this is a very well put together antenna. I am very satisfied with it. Um, there's really nothing to it. It's not even. It looks heavy, but this is really not a heavy antenna. It's very light. You can actually lift it with one hand. It's very light. Great signal, easy to input. You can actually mount it on your roof like this. You don't have to get a mast. You can mount it right on your roof like this with this adjacent connecting pole right here or mast. And it's a this is actually pretty good because in this case you can actually turn the antenna to whichever direction you want to turn it. So it gives you a little bit of more freedom of where you want it to aim. But it's very light, and I think it's made out of aluminum, but it's very light. I'm not sure of the material, but I like it. I've had no issues with it. It says the reception range is 80 miles. It's an outdoor. Read up on these color codes. I believe they have something to do with the range or the signal. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a long time since I've researched this, but the more colors, I think the more bandwidth that the antenna can receive, if I'm not mistaken. But read up on the CEA color code of what it means. Multi-directional means it can receive 360 degrees. But in this case, wherever you aim it, that's where it's going to pick up the most signal from. There is no built-in amplifier. You can buy those separate. There are actually videos down here showing you how to assemble and how to select the best antenna for your home. Installation, you can roof, attic, mast, eave, chimney. You can pretty much mount this antenna anywhere. It comes with limited warranty, 90 days of parts and labor, 90 days of support through phone, online chat, and or email. So it is a very well constructed antenna, and you have amplifiers here that you can get. I tried an amplifier and I actually lost signal. I didn't gain anything, so I had to send it back, and I just didn't deal with that. My signal is coming through just fine. You can get the splitter, which if you want to have it hooked connected to multiple TVs, that's what this for. This is the universal antenna mount that you saw back in the picture earlier where it was mounted to the outside of the roof. And Channel Master has been around for a very long time. In this next video, I'm going to show you how I mounted or installed my antenna. Okay, so here I am in the attic of my home, and this is the antenna that I ordered from Amazon. This is the Channel Master. At this hand, I don't know what the model number is, but most of these antennas you have to put them on a mast, but I was able to actually put this in my attic and get the signal from inside the house instead of being outside. So this is the interface where the cable line plugs in. I'll see if I can dim this light a little bit. And I have it running to the cable line that is going down to there's a splitter right there. So one line to the far left is coming in. That's the signal coming in from the antenna, and the one in the middle and the one on the right are going out to my televisions. And that's all the connection there is. Now I had to unscrew the original cables, and there's one right there. There's another one a little behind that. There's a second one. Now basically all you do is just unscrew those that go out. If you have the cables that are going out to your house, and these are going out into I had DirecTV, and this is where I cut my cord basically with DirecTV. And you just unscrew the connecting cable that runs to the outside, and this is where you plug it into the splitter, and then the line comes in from the splitter and goes to the antenna. Now please be careful when you're walking around up in your attic. If you are going to do this option that I've chosen, please be careful. Make sure you stay on the support beams that run along the top of your attic. Do not step on the clear white portion. You will fall through. So please, if you're going to do this step or option, make sure that you stay on the support beams and take your time. If this option does not vibe with you, or you agree with it, you can always get it masked and post this up outside of your home. And it's best to post it right along where your cables come out and meet the outside of your house. Alright, I hope this helps you guys out and puts aside any confusion or any questions, or give you insight as to going with the option of having an over-the-air antenna. I'll leave links to the Channel Master website in the description below. You guys take care, be safe, peace out.